Well, welcome everyone back to the podcast. It's been a minute since we've recorded, and I'm excited to finally be back. It's been a chaotic time. It's been a really busy season, but we'll get into that in a minute. But to introduce everyone, we have Eden from the testimony episode. She's back.
Whoop, whoop.
Yep. And then we have Zach, who is a close friend of mine, we've been trying to get on the podcast, and finally he's on.
That's me.
Yep. He was supposed to be on the first one, and then stuff fell through with that cast, and so now he's finally here. But this was literally like the first guy that was going to be on the podcast. I think literally I was like, I want to have a podcast. And I was like, Zach, you're going to be on the first episode.
I think so.
And here we are 10 episodes later, and Zach
Is it really 10?
This is episode 10.
Oh my gosh.
This is episode 10.
This is coming out Sunday, right?
Not tomorrow, or 2 days for us, but a week and 2 days.
Oh, okay. It's going to be a minute. Okay.
It's going to be a week. It'll be
Alright.
fun. Yeah, I skipped a week, by the way, guys. Sorry. I skipped a week.
Yeah.
I've
that's why
just
I
been
was
crazy
thinking.
busy.
Okay.
And then the episode before that, some of you might know, an episode with a friend of mine, that had to be taken down. And so that's why you might look at it, and it jumps from episode 8 to episode 10. And you're like, hey, there was an episode in the middle there. Where'd it go? That had to be taken down. But we're back, and we got a new episode. So to start off, let's talk about Night Zero first. I think that was kind of like our big thing. We just had a massive student event. We're all in very different roles as far as production for that event.
Yeah.
But let's kind of chat about Night Zero for a little bit. So first of all, 1,600 students,
Yeah, that's
16
crazy.
1614 was the final number, is what I was told.
which is insane. Like 16, 14 on a rainy day where they had to take their, parents had to take their kids there.
That
Yeah.
was, I believe, 300 more than we had last year.
Was it really?
Yeah, we had 1,300 last year.
We had like 19.
Oh, it was less than I
we
thought.
had like 1,900 show up, or sign up last year, but we only had about 13 show up.
Okay.
Yeah, it was busy. It was packed. We're going to have to get like Ed Market Arena or something for the next
I
one.
don't know that big.
Yeah, well, that was in conversation for this year, but it never happened.
That would be so much fun. Being in Ed Market would be insane.
Yeah, it would be insane.
It would go to Saban's heads.
Oh,
Okay.
for sure.
I love you,
Yeah.
Saban. This is the first time we're mentioning you.
Is it?
Yeah. This is a funny side story. I told Saban that I would mention him on the podcast, and then I didn't. And so he the other day was like, dude, you said you were going to mention me and then didn't. So Saban, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Sabin.
We'll have you on one day. But
You may have to blur some things
Well-
out for that episode.
We were gonna do a Sabin question episode,
yes,
and we never did. So
we'll plan it. We'll get it organized. So kind of let's talk about our different roles. Eden, where were you for Night Zero?
So I was in front of house. So I was doing front of house for us at Compassion is audio and graphics, lighting, producer. And is there a fifth role down by audio?
There's 2 audio stations.
There's 2 audio
and then
stations.
there's 2 CG stations and a
Yeah.
lighting station.
Yeah. And so, well, for a typical service, we have only one person on CG, but we had like extra things for this because we had an extra floating LED banner, and then we just had like a bunch of extra things that we were doing. We were doing extra videos, extra games, all of that kind of stuff. So they split a job that would typically be one really busy person into 2 people who were not as busy. And so I was in charge of everything that happened on the LED banner. And then I also did all of the videos that went on the screens and all of the games that we played. And then our good friend Justin was on the other computer, and I think he just had lyrics.
I think so.
I think
it
so,
was just lyrics.
But I mean, there were a lot of lyrics. There's like 8 songs?
Yeah.
I think there was 6, but 2.
There was
But then
6,
they
but
also
like
did
2 of them were
2
medleys.
mashups and like a one more song sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked great. Those games. What was your favorite game? Speaking of games.
You know, honestly, I can't name a single one.
Fair enough.
Which is so bad because I ran all the slides. I don't even know what games we played before. Did we? Oh, the food game was quite fun. We pulled a small group leader from each campus, and they had to
David,
either spell the food that they were given or eat it, and it was like a whole bunch of like gross stuff for the most part.
We're not talking like spell banana or have to eat it. It's like quinoa.
Spell Worcestershire sauce.
Yes, which the person who had that
Got
can't
it.
He
remember-
got it completely right, and he was
And-
cheating. He had to have been cheating.
Did you guys hear about the Bluffton guy who won? He was like, yeah, I was like a spelling bee champion back in high school.
like
It
a
was
thir-
rigged for Bluffton.
It's like a 3-time spelling bee champion.
Well, as it should be. I'm sorry.
Where are they gonna put the hockey table? Okay, by the way, they
Their
won a
offices.
big like hockey table.
Yeah.
They don't have a building.
Okay, so then when they get a building, that's the first thing that's going in it. And
I can just
also, you
imagine we
have
build
to.
a brand new building. The only thing we put in said building is just the hockey
Hockey
table in
table.
the middle of the sanctuary.
It is
But,
currently
like-
being stored in the Bluffton offices.
But also, like. Yeah.
All 6 Bluffton people.
Yeah.
5.
Here's the deal.
Actually, no, there's 4.
That's as it should be. It should have been Bluffton. They're the newest to the family too. If Henderson got it, I would have thrown hands with somebody.
We already have one.
Exactly. I would have
We
thrown
don't need
hands.
2.
But yeah, so that was fun. Zach, where were you?
I was on stage team. It was fun, but it was also interesting. A lot of moving parts. We had 3 stage decks put together, almost built like a living room set. So there was 2 end tables, a lamp, TV, and a couch. And then we also have a door that like connected and sat on top of the stage deck. It was very stressful because it was stressful but fun because we were only given so much time. We were given, I think, 10 seconds to move it from on the stage to the back curtain. And we also had to do it without getting in the way of like band members and all that stuff, instruments, other stages and stuff like that. All around it was fun, but by far the most stressful part was whenever the curtain first opened up for the very first time and everybody's just staring at you and it's like, oh shoot.
We're here. It's
It's like,
time.
well, there's no going back now.
Yeah, that's fun. You guys had a lot to move. 'Cause You also
Yeah.
had you had the deck. You had a wall come down from the ceiling
Mm-hmm.
that would go behind the design. It was a lot. Curtain, it was just a lot for you guys.
Question about the wall, because you guys both did strike afterwards.
Yep.
Was it just a screen, or was it like?
He built it.
the
a
wall? The wall was basically just like foam.
Oh, okay.
With like wooden paneling around the perimeter of it to kind of keep it in place, and then we put fake baseboards and wallpaper on it
Okay.
to make it look like an actual wall, and then it's just stapled into it.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool beans.
But yeah, it was we had one person on the wall, one person on the curtain. We had we had 4 people in total moving the stage deck. And it went really smooth all the time. We only had to bring it out 2 times or out 1 time, and we had to bring it back 2 times.
Dude, it was so smooth. Like, you could not tell.
It ended up going
didn't
well.
It really didn't feel like it because it felt like the longest 10-15 seconds of my life
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it felt like so much to move, but then whenever we finally got it all moved, it was like, oh, thank God, it's finally like we only got to do it one more time. But yeah, it was just fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. I was on a camera, but I wasn't actually on a camera. This is the whole fun thing.
Camera 8.
Camera 8 for us was a jib. And the thing about
Explain
a
what a
jib.
jib is.
Yes, for anyone who doesn't, sorry, production brain. If you don't know what a jib is, if you ever see those like big like tower crane cameras that like swing around, that's a jib. They get really cool panoramic shots. But because it's a big crane, it needs a lot of room for you to move around, and we don't have a set spot. A lot of churches will have a spot where it's like they know nobody will be walking around, so they have a jib set up there at all times. But here, we were in a walkway, so my job was to protect the jib and to make sure people don't get hit by RJ, who is swinging around with the jib, which I would basically think like a police officer directing traffic. That was me. I was literally like, wait. Okay, you can come. And I was like, wait, stay there. You can come. And like grabbing people and like pulling them out of the, it's a whole thing. It's a fun job. But during Been So Good, which was like our 4th or 5th song, our comms cut out.
Oh,
And they went
really?
in and out. They would come in for about 10 seconds and then go out for another 30. And it did that for 2 songs. So we couldn't hear Colby directing us. We didn't know what shot was next. We were just going.
Nice.
That whole time, we had no idea where we were going or what was on the screen.
I also have a question.
Wait, and that was Been So Good into I Thank God.
Yeah.
Did you hear Kevin talking to you during I Thank God?
No.
Oh, he
Kevin
was.
talked during I Thank God.
Yeah, he was over here like, Lucas, it's your time to shine. You've got this. Like, yeah.
I heard nothing because our comms were out. And then I ended up turning my pack off because we had 15 on the system.
Yeah.
And there's 15 that I can have. So I turned off mine because it was going in and out. I turned off mine, and apparently because everyone's was cutting in and out. Not just me and RJ's, like everyone's was.
Yeah, I remember
I turned
that.
mine off, and then we didn't have any more problems again. So
Well,
I
go
had
you.
I had none for Goodbye Yesterday, which was our closing song. I had no comms at all. So I was just having to guess when RJ was about to go.
Oh.
It was fun though. We love comm systems, and they're so helpful, but they suck when they go out because we're
Yeah.
very dependent on it. My favorite game was definitely the like Spell It or Eat It.
Yeah.
That was so much fun to watch. Shout out to Devin Knight. He was my small group leader all through high school, and he was the guy for our campus that did it. That was fun. What else was fun? It's just a fun group.
I will say, though, like, as soon as I Thank God happened and he was like, all right, kids are about to go. Lucas, this is your time to shine. I didn't have anything else to do for that song because I had already clicked the banner, and so I had nothing else to do. And so I, stood up, and I just watched you.
So, for anyone who doesn't know the story, so last year, I was doing the same job. And we got to I Thank God, which is a favorite song of ours. I love that song.
Yeah.
But during the bridge, our student ministry loves to do a Congo line and tell the Congo line all the way around the room. And they were told, stay in your seats. We have 1,300 people. Please stay in your seats. It's too chaotic to be out of your seats. Well, then the Congo line started, and everyone got out of their seats. And so I'm having to literally drag middle schoolers out of the way of the camera. And then they shot off streamers, which wasn't a bad thing, but the streamers got underneath the cameras. And, well, the students wanted the streamers so badly.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's a whole thing. I got rushed. I had to drag people around. And then I got dragged by middle schoolers. That was fun. Not really. But then we were waiting for it to happen this year. Praise the Lord, it did not happen. I did not
There
have to
were,
drag people.
3 girls that went and tried to do it. And
Oh,
then
all
no
of
one.
East did. You know
and
what
then they
Grayson
shut
did?
that down immediately.
There's a few did. You know what Grayson did? All of his kids started coming out of the seats, and he said nothing. He just looked at them, and I'm like, Grayson, what are you doing? And he's like, they're fine. And I'm like, no, Grayson, that is how I get trampled. But yeah, no, it's a fun role every year. But yeah, what are you guys kind of your takeaways from Night Zero?
I
Well-
feel.
oh,
Sorry.
You first.
I feel like every year it's just. Well, the last year I was not a student, but I was a volunteer and I wasn't on production, so I got to actually be a part of the worship experience. So I feel like when you're in the experience, you don't realize how big it is, if that makes sense. You're in your own moment and you're with everybody else doing the same thing. But it's not, when you're in the center of it, it's not like you look around and you're like, oh my gosh, there's all these kids. When you're sitting in production, you have to be aware of everything that's happening at one given moment.
Amen.
to really experience the magnitude of it was like, whoa. There was a couple of times where like the kids behind us were louder than the band. And it was so cool to hear. And the kids behind us too, they were Henderson kids. It was like all of the rising 6th graders were sitting behind us. And to hear like those kids, because they haven't even experienced youth group yet.
Yeah, this isn't the normal students vibe that everyone has. But yeah, like they haven't experienced the vibe of students.
And they'll get a very similar, not very similar, but they'll get, out of all of the campuses, their worship experience week to week will be the most similar to what they experienced at Night Zero.
Yeah.
But to hear them singing "Been So Good" and "I Thank God" at the top of their lungs, it was fantastic. And for some of us, it was a bit emotional. Not me, but
Other people.
I was.
You know
I was,
who you are.
I was cracked out on 6 servings of Haribo gummy bears.
True. Zach, what about you?
Well, I will say it was a little bit hard to experience it from behind a curtain, but all around it was fun to get to work with people I had never worked with before, and kind of being able to. The takeaway I got was that it's like just like it's easier to do things as a team, especially like separated by like lighting team, stage team, all that stuff. I did go back later and watch all the footage for it, and which is on YouTube, by the way.
It is?
Yes, it is.
Under Compassion Christian Church
I'll have to go look
in
at
their
that.
live streamed events, right? It's under live streamed events.
Colby also has he has a special, I think, like,
He has the Resi version, right?
yeah, he has the Resi version, but he also has the one with all the different cuts for the different camera views.
Yeah. Did you see his video that he posted?
I saw
reel?
it, yeah.
Speaking of which, Colby Griner, go follow him on Instagram. I love that guy. But
He's pretty epic.
he has that view where it shows all the different cameras and it
Yeah.
shows the preview and the
Yeah,
cut.
yeah.
But yeah, just overall, like, working in a team makes it 10 times easier because the stage deck was.
Dude, that thing was so difficult to move.
Oh, and then the next day when we had to take it apart, the actual event was definitely the best part. Loading out and taking everything like down, and it had its moments, but when you're holding a stage deck and somebody comes up and kicks it and makes you want to throw up, it hurts a little bit.
Yeah, we were trying. It wasn't me.
It actually wasn't him.
Surprising enough.
Surprising enough.
Actually, no, because I know he wouldn't be stupid enough to do that.
Fair.
But yeah, we were trying to take apart, and part of it got stuck, and so it was being a problem, and we were having to figure it out.
Nice.
But yeah, no, that was such a fun. For me, I think just that I don't know, the notion of just. We'll come back. Well, welcome back, everyone. We had some family stuff that came up. My parents walked downstairs. The joys of being home. But where were we? You were talking about what you learned. Oh, I was about to talk about what I learned. But I think you had a story that you wanted to share.
Because we worked with a lot of people from other campuses.
Yeah. So, one of the part-time production technicians that helps out every once in a while, his name is Nick. Nick was in charge of the wall that we used for the living room set, and it is basically a rope that goes down to the floor with a hook. And Nick was wearing gloves as to not get rope burned because he was going to be going up and down with this wall all night for probably 2 hours. And Nick, on the last time we were putting the wall up, so like we're finished with it, done, everybody after that stage team was going home. Nick hooked it in, but his gloves got caught on a cable and the finger of his glove got stuck. And then he basically like jerked his hand back, and when he did that, the finger of his glove came completely off. And we all were just like, oh, we were doing the loadout the next day, and it was like, oh, there's just a glove of a finger, or there's just a finger of a glove sitting on the ground, and it was on the edge of like the carpet, and it looked like it was under the carpet, so it looked like all that was sticking out was just one singular finger.
I remember walking in during the loadout. I'm walking over there. I just see like a finger of a glove, and I'm like, what happened to somebody's finger? Why is there just one finger of someone's glove? But yeah, that's fun. As far as takeaways for me, I think too often everyone's like, oh, this generation's not going to be super about Jesus, and they're not going to be able to, like, they're not going to want to go to church and just want to hang out with their friends and not do stuff. We had 1,600 kids. 1,600. Our church has like 10 or 11,000 people that go to it, but like to have 1,600 middle and high schoolers who are there, that is insane. That is
Yeah,
so
it is.
Definitely.
much. And it's just one of those things where like it reminds me with that event, with all the like college unite. Have you guys been hearing about the Unite Us conferences that have been happening?
Mhm.
No.
That's the ones where they're going to college campuses and having worship nights.
Oh.
And they had they went to Ohio State. They had 8,000 people go. 2,000 were saved. Hundreds got baptized.
I saw one that happened over the winter. It was in like I think Michigan, and it was entirely too cold to do like pop-up baptisms, so they rented a U-Haul and built a baptismal in a U-Haul.
Yep, and we're baptizing people in the back of U-Hauls
Yeah,
Wow.
in the middle of the winter.
in the middle of like middle winter, and it was probably like 2 degrees outside.
Wow.
So yeah, there's that. They had one in Kentucky recently. They had one in West Virginia with Elevation Worship last night. Like, it's just like people are like, oh, like Christianity's kind of gone, but no, heck no, it isn't, and it's
still
coming
very
back.
still very much here.
And
It's here to stay.
and it's growing. And I'm just it makes me excited to see events like this where year after year we're seeing more and more kids show up and more kids take it seriously.
Yeah.
And I think even like I got back from a retreat of 2 weeks ago with Passion, and like I remember coming back from that retreat and being like, these kids are taking their faith seriously, and I didn't start doing that until after high school. And it's like to see these kids, and the middle schoolers are the same way. Like middle schoolers starting to take their faith seriously and make it their own.
Mm-hmm.
It's like just such a beautiful thing to see, because imagine what's going to happen by the time they're in college if they started in middle or high school taking it seriously. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
if we have 100 kids that have been like super close to Jesus for 4 years by the time they got to college, like think about how much more prepared they'll be and how much more exciting it'll be when in 4 years we get a whole new wave of kids in college who are serious about their faith. It's so exciting, and I can't wait.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just exciting. So anything else as far as Night Zero?
I don't think so. Not off the top of my head. I mean, it's always fantastic to do an event with like a large team of people. And like we said, we had a team that included members of, I think, almost every campus, if not every.
We had for production, we had every campus.
Okay.
The
'Cause-
only campus we didn't have was downtown, but downtown was still.
I mean,
Colin-
Colin was still there.
Colin
yeah.
was still there. He was just running the adult service
Okay.
in the atrium.
I gotcha.
As far as our larger production team, Colin, I would include Colin.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's just, and I think we're all at a point now where we have enough connections at Compassion to where we know a lot of people. We know a lot of people, and a lot of people know us. And so to go to one of these events and then to be like, oh, I'm coming here to serve, and then to also see some of the most influential people in your life doing the same thing with you is so fulfilling.
Yeah.
I mean that, but then also for me, seeing the guys that I used to like would be on a camera when I was video directing. Like literally 2 of my camera operators were there, like pushing a stage. Like, yes, there's that whole like, yeah, like the people that really like taught me a bunch, but it's all going from like those people all the way down to like your 2 people that volunteer camera operating on Sunday. Like to
Yeah.
see them be willing to show up on a Sunday night.
2
and do
days,
this.
and they got the request 2 days before the
2 days-
event.
And half of that, Joe?
Yeah, Joe.
Joey was literally there that morning running a camera at East.
Yeah.
So he was like not like just a normal volunteer, has a day job, but still showed up all day on Sunday, and it's just cool
Yeah.
to see. Well, we're gonna kind of wrap it up, but I have an announcement to make, and I'm quite sad about this announcement. If you guys follow me on my own personal Instagram, I announced that I got a job with CIY.
Oh, this announcement.
Yeah, I got a job with CIY. I'm gonna be doing some video and some LED wall stuff with them touring this summer. But with that, it means I will not be able to do the podcast over the summer. I'll be touring a bunch, which means I'll be in different places and just won't have the capacity and the space to do it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take a pause in May. We're gonna pause and then we'll come back in August full steam. I'm going to be fresh with energy and have a long list of people to have on. But yeah, so we'll have like 3 or 4 more episodes. I think I have those planned. And then we'll take a pause and then we'll be back like full steam ahead in August. But yeah, I think that's it for this episode. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
See you.